Hey everybody, welcome to Snagging Grass and Catching Bass. Let's get this show started. Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in tonight. Wednesday night, got a great show for you tonight. I got Chad from Hookup Baits to discuss his PanAM tournament in La Paz, which sounds pretty exciting. Also going to talk a little bit about Spotty Bowl. We got a PB shout out tonight. So thanks for tuning in tonight. First up, we got some people in chat here. We got David. What's going on, David? Just saw the video with the beef shaman. It is awesome. Yes. So you haven't seen that yet, we had a special like invitation only trip to Lake Barrett. Some pretty cool stuff. That'll definitely be in PB shoutouts tonight. Marvin, what's going on? Marvin Snag. Tom's in the house. What's up? Tom's in here. Ken, the fishing fool. Good to see you in here, Ken. Bob Brewer. Nice fishing with you this weekend, Bob. We had a good time out there. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Hookup Baits. Chad's in the chat right here. He's coming on live here in a minute. David, what's going on? Let's go. We got TB Metal Art. Todd, I just saw another one of your awesome creations that Chad held up. It's a new belt for a tournament coming up. We're going to be talking about that heavily here. Smagged. Chet's in chat. What's going on, Chet? Good to see you at the Bloody Decks tournament this weekend. I'm going to talk about that too. It was a fun weekend with that. Chris is in there. What's going on? Jared, of course, is in here. How's it going, Jared? So what's up, guys? Cash, the fisherman's in there. How are you doing? Stephen Gage. We got Josephine. What's up, Jojo? Hello. Nice picture, Jojo. Very professional. And all right, let's go ahead and bring in the champ himself with the round of applause. There he is. Let me unmute your mic. There you go. What's up, Chad? How are you?
What's up, guys?
Oh, man, you got your belts finally. I've been bringing Spotty Bowl champions on a lot on the show, but nobody's been showing off their belts. Thanks for bringing on the belts. You got, it looks like 3 of them. So I know the green one. I know that green one because you beat me for that green one. That's Masters.
That's San Diego, LA, and then this is the grand champion twice.
Grand champion. Yeah. If you guys don't know what the grand champion is, if you ever become a Spotty Bowl champion, that means you've won whatever division, shore, Wankin' Wars, whatever. Eric puts on an event sometime. Is it October-ish? I want to say maybe around there. After Spotty Bowl is kind of smoke, dust is all cleared, he puts on a tournament for just the champions to compete against each other, and whoever wins it gets to hold the grand championship for the entire year. And Chad's never lost it, so you've had it 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
And you've also got 2 Masters champions, and one of them is in LA and one of them is San Diego. So congratulations on the only person to ever do that. That's awesome.
Pretty proud of them.
Chad, stoked to have you on here. If you guys don't know Chad, where have you been? Haven't been fishing in San Diego very much, but Chad is the owner of Hookup Baits. You want to tell us a little about your company, Hookup Baits, real quick, Chad?
Just Hookup Baits, pretty much if you fish SoCal, Hookup Baits. Especially if you fish spotties, Hookup Baits. But yeah, we're based here in San Diego. Been here for 10 years. We have 15 full-time employees working here in San Diego. The baits are made 100% in San Diego. So
that's awesome.
Talk about USA made. It's actually San Diego USA made 100%. So,
and the best thing about them is Frank hand does everyone, right? So you know that Frank has touched everybody.
Lead head. Frank's pours a lot of our lead heads. So we have 5 guys that do lead heads on their own time as side jobs, and Frank's been doing them the longest out of all of them.
Well, you need like a special edition Frank edition. Come on, man. That's like a special edition Frank. We know it was made by his hands only. If you don't know who Frank is, here we go.
I'm Frank, and you're watching Snagging Grass and Catching Bass.
Yeah, we want Frank edition so we know what we're getting. Norm says hi. Hey, what's up, Norm? Haven't seen you in chat before. Glad to have you here tonight. Okay, so Chad, I've been asking my guests this, kind of get to know somebody. You know, we know about your fishing, but when you go to a taco shop, Chad, any taco shop, what's your taco shop order?
Well, actually, I just discovered the birria tacos. The birria, is that how you say that, I think?
Are you saying birria?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my
birria. I discovered those on my Mexican trip, actually. Chris I was with, he's like, here, you're going to love these. And then, yeah, he's right. I loved them. So that's what I've been getting ever since, actually. So that's my thing right now, the birria tacos, or birria. I don't even know how to say it.
They have those. I'm terrible at pronunciation too, but they have those in a place in Santee. Oh my gosh, my wife's gonna kill me. I don't know the name, but we found it, and that's her absolute favorite thing to eat now is that birria taco, which they're incredible.
They're so good.
You haven't had them. It's like
messy but good.
Greasy, and after you're done, you're like, oh, that probably wasn't the healthiest thing, but my gosh.
Yeah, but damn, it's good.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, they are good. Okay, Chad, one more question. Trying to get asking people about their fishing experiences and stuff. If you watch a show, you know I'm a super lot of superstitions I go by. You know, hat, shoes, socks, everything. Throughout the year, I work my lucky outfit. I think I've nailed it down, man. Two good weekends in a row. Do you have any superstitions or any lucky hats or anything like that?
It is my lucky hat. So I'm wearing it right now. This is this year's lucky hat. It's my new canoe hat.
Say new canoe. All right.
Yeah, that's my new tournament fishing kayak. This year is the new canoe. So I've been wearing this hat the whole season. But the last 2 seasons, it's been my CHF, California Harbor Fishing hat. It was my lucky hat the last 2 years. So that's basically just my hat. I wear different hats, the Hookup Baits hats, and different. I have a hat collection at home just by being in the industry. Everyone gives hats.
Yeah,
I got on the end of my bed post probably 100 different hats of every one. You know,
you could see. Yeah. These are all the hats I was given this weekend. So exactly. I was going to wear them all because it's nice to get them in the industry. But yeah, I'm wearing my AFCO hat.
Yeah, so, everyone has that AFCO hat now.
Yeah, I got this.
I think I got like 4 or 5 of those in the collection.
Super nice hats, guys. By the way,
yeah,
definitely nice.
It's only when I have tournaments. I wear different hats all the time, but when I have tournaments, I have a specific hat I wear for the whole series or the whole season. So
is that your only lucky item? You don't do like me and toss a penny, say a prayer, put your hand in the water, punch your finger, nothing like that?
No, that's it.
Right.
That's basically it.
All right, it just comes. Then you must work on skill, not luck, like me. Then.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I tell everybody. I have the worst luck in the world with gambling, raffles, everything. If I ever join a raffle, I'll win my own baits back. That's the only thing I'll win. So I was like, I have 0 luck. So every fish I catch is totally by skill.
I'm going to claim luck on my side. We got our first question, guys, tonight. If you have a question for Chad or me, doesn't have to be about what you're seeing on the screen. If you have a question about hookup baits, how to hook them, how to rig them, how to fish them, whatever, or if you have questions about Spotty Bowl or any of the tournaments coming up, just put the word question in there, and I'll go ahead and put the question out. First question is from Tom. He says, what's the deepest you've caught a spotted bay bass while in Mexico? Oh, he must have some inside information on that.
Yeah, this blew my mind. But we'll talk about this when we're talking about going to the show.
I think there's an actual picture of that, and I saw that picture, and we're going to talk about that a little bit, Tom. First of all, I can't wait to talk about that because I had no idea spotted bay bass are way down in that south area. So I can't wait.
Blew my mind.
Hang on, guys. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. I've always said, we've pretty much figured out our LA now and San Diego, general size, right? I mean, a 3-pounder is like a beast. But if they were in a different area, like deep Mexico or something, where the environment's a little different, do they get bigger? I don't know. Yeah. We're gonna find out because Chad caught a few down there.
Yep.
I gotta know. Everybody's saying Berea in Santee. It's not Mr. Berea. It's the place right next door to that, Steven. What the heck is the name of it? It's like a wrestling name or something. It's got Super Mario Brothers, which is weird. And Super Mario Brothers and a sombrero painted on the side of the building. One cool tune is in the house all the way from Kentucky. What's going on? Bob Brewer agrees with you. Berea always. I hope I'm saying that right. Everybody, Dave Rage, my wife turned me on to Bria. Tasty. Okay. Yeah, we all agree with that.
That's the thing right now.
Oh man, look who's in the chat. Cave Dog Cal, good to see you in chat. All right, we're gonna go ahead, Chad, and jump into some weekly news right here. So we got some stuff coming up. Hold on tight.
Oh yeah.
Hey, my name's Chris, snagging grass, catching bass. Here we go. It's going to be awesome. Thanks for watching, guys. Cheers.
Guys, if you have any upcoming tournaments coming on or trade shows or just local club stuff or trash cleanups, whatever, send me the information and I'll give you guys a shout out on weekly news, just so the fishing community here has a place to chime in and see what's going on in our local community and what upcoming events we have. First up, of course, we got Spotty Bowl. Me and Chad have both fished that. I think you fished every year but the first. So we have, I have never missed a round of Spotty Bowl. So
that's crazy. I heard you say that last week, and I was like, "Dang, that is pretty dang impressive. That's commitment right there."
Have you ever got tired, Chad?
I don't get tired often, but I mean that's pretty awesome.
I tell you what, it's 3 divisions and extra fishing events on the side. I'm a little tired this year, guys. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little tired. Okay, so we got a fishing event coming up for San Diego, Spotty Bowl, April 11th through 13th. Just remember, guys, don't forget to declare your day and your time. San Diego Bay, the Big Bay. Me and Chad were able to, we're going to talk about the tournament we fished this weekend, but we were able to get a pre-fish in. I consider that pre-fish for San Diego Bay. And let's just say, we'll see.
Yeah.
Is that kind of your feeling?
Yeah, it was tough fishing. I was surprised how tough it was, actually.
I scraped up. You know what was weird about that tournament is the start time at 7 a.m. because we're used to 6 a.m. for Spotty Bowl, and I was sitting at on my boat at like 6:30, and the sun's already up. I'm like, oh man, I need my lines in the water. I just waiting for that 7 o'clock to click seemed like an eternity, because normally like we're fishing at 6 a.m. like right when the sun's creeping up, you know.
Yeah.
But missing that 1 hour just kind of
Yeah, kind of probably made it for less 1 to 3 less fish or so, you know, so half your limit anyway. So.
Sometimes, you know, and I know that first hour, dude, can be half your bag or like
exactly. It's usually half your bag, usually that first hour.
The first hour for me is if I only get 11, 12s, maybe a 13, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be tough. But if I can get that 15 in that first hour or 2 15s, I'm like, oh, here we go. Now I got something to build on. I'm ready to boogie. Let's party. But that first hour, man, it's a scary time. All right, we got April 25th. Here we go. Back to one of my favorite places. We're going back to Newport, Chad. Finally.
Yeah. First time I'll be fishing it this year, actually. I haven't fished that. Oh, no, that was the first tournament, which I totally bombed on this year. So,
we all think bombed on Newport first.
You guys didn't bomb as bad as I did on that one. That was my worst tournament ever.
I don't remember what I did, but I think I only got 5 fish. Maybe I did. I don't know. It's been so long.
I only got 4 fish. That was the first time I didn't get a limit ever.
Yeah, and most of the time you never get under 70, so yeah, that's a tough fishing. All right, so we got Newport come up next up. We had the Bloody Decks CCA tournament, charity tournament for CCA. It was awesome. It's good to meet all the anglers out there. Fun event, huge turnout. I think it was 140 plus people in that tournament, so it's turned into a really big spotty tournament. Cool thing about this year was they open it up to both bays, which they need to, because with that many people, if we shove 140 people in the Mission Bay, it's going to be, it'd be nuts. So glad they opened it up.
Well, that's what it was last year. Last year was all Mission Bay. It was like just slightly less, I think, 130 some people. So
yeah, it was tight fishing. It was tight fishing.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Chad. Second place there, 71.3. Congratulations, first of all. Round of applause for Caden. Good job, man. Yeah. 71.6, which we're so used to Spotty Bowl numbers. It doesn't sound like a huge bag, but man, that I'm telling you, for to get a 70-inch bag on that weekend, that was a tough go. It was. Yeah. I think that's all the 70-inch bags right there. Yeah. So
I mean, because of Spotty Bowl with that 70, I knew I was around 71 something, And I was taking my time getting back to the award ceremony because like, I didn't win nothing with that.
That's the same way I felt. I thought, oh man, because I only had 2 legal fish. I had a kicker at a 15.75, which was my kicker.
Yeah.
And then I had 14 something, and then the rest were all 13. So I just squeaked to 70. I don't know how I got 70.1, but I got 70.1. I had no idea because I kept submitting. And I had no idea what my score was at the end, but I found out when I got there. But you could see how tight it was.
Yeah.
We have 3.
And when they went by tenth of an inch too.
Yeah.
So that's
Went by Canadian rules.
71.60 and 71.30 is what those are. What those what they came out to be. So
I like it. I like it like that. The judging seemed very fair. They give you your own bump board. I enjoyed that tournament. I'll be fishing it next year. A lot of good turnouts. Chad sponsored that. AFCO, a lot of good sponsors at that event. So fun event. I recommend trying that. And all that money goes to the CCA, which is where we want it to fight for our right to fish. All right. Next up, we got this weekend, Day at the Docks. Are you sponsoring this year? You got a booth this year there?
No, we don't. First year ever, we don't have a booth there. We're getting to the size now. We can't be competing against our retail partners.
Gotcha.
And so Squidco wanted to carry our baits at the show, so we had to let them carry our baits at the show. But we'll have team members there answering questions at the Squidco booth, answering questions and helping you pick out the right baits.
Perfect. Yeah, I think one of the first times I met you was, long time ago, and you were doing a halibut seminar there and me and you were just about to fish against each other in the San Diego Anglers halibut tournament back when that was going on. That was a while back.
Yeah.
Day at Docks is a fun day. They got fishing tackle booths. You go out, check out tackle. They got cooking demonstrations, seminars. Usually Chad gives one, but there'll be Hookup Baits guys, other guys doing seminars down there. Free kids fishing. I think they do that from the dock, maybe. Maybe they do it out on
that's the San Diego Anglers. They'll catch a mackerel.
Yeah. Bay boat rides, great prizes, casting contests. It's basically right in front. Here's a map that I pulled off online, but it's basically right there, right at Point Loma Sports Fishing right there. It's that whole parking lot area right there.
Yeah. It's where all the sport fishing boats go out. It's that whole
America's
parking
Cup. I saw this too. It says President San Diego Sports Fishing Council announced that Day of the Docks marks the beginning of the San Diego sports fishing season. Let's go. I guess because rock fishing's open, the weather's warming up, The event celebrates San Diego's fleet, technology, and skilled crews while also honoring H&M Landing's 90th anniversary. Wow. And I don't know if they're still having this, but I saw this photo. Boat rides $3. Dang. So if you guys don't normally get on the water, or you're want to go out and take the kids out and the family out, $3 for a boat ride. Sounds like
take a little tour of the bay.
Yeah. Heck yeah. Next up, we got this. So I've been mentioning this the past couple of weeks. We got Team USA saltwater kayaker announces a 3rd regional qualifier, the USAngling. And this is something that we're going to talk about with Chad, who just went down to Mexico and fished one of these qualifying rounds, right?
No, that was actually one of the real tournament rounds. That's part of the team. That wasn't a qualifier. That was actually a team event. That's what you get to fish if you make it on the team. Got it. That's what I did in Mexico. So yeah, but this is going to be a really fun event. We basically formatted it after what you would be fishing as on the USA team. This is how the USA team tournaments work. The ones they do all over the world against other nations. So that's how it's formatted. And we're talking a lot of spotty bowlers, spotty fishermen. So it's not for one fish, right? You're fishing for as many species as you can land. It's a species tournament. So there is no measuring board. There's no measuring. There's a chart. So this, you're going to end up getting one of these. Mm-hmm. So it has all the different fish and then the point values of each fish.
Oh, and you're allowed. What's the California halibut point?
California halibut is 7 points.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So
wait a minute. What's the spotted bay bass point?
3.
Come on, man.
Well, it goes by ease of catch. So easier they are to catch, the less points. So the spotted bay bass and sand bass are 3 points. Then it goes to sculpin, 4 points. Calico bass, 5 points. Then it goes halibut, 7. Then it goes all the way to bonefish, which the highest points value is 30 points.
Oh, my recommendation for a bonefish is head south, man. But it's artificial only, right?
All right. Well, you can use live bait, but you have to catch your own live bait. So it's
Interesting.
pretty much artificial. Nobody's going to go
So
catch
if you
their own
catch a
bait.
Mac, because that's what everybody's going to catch, right? If you catch a
No,
Mac,
that's an other. So if it's not one of the listed fish, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
hold on,
14
let me
listed fish.
put that chart on full screen real quick, Chad.
Has 14 different ones. So those are all the point value fish from 3 to 30 points. Okay.
Got it. What's
And
that fish at the bottom left down there?
this one? That's
No,
a
above
corbeet.
it. Right above
That's
it.
a sargo.
Oh, gotcha.
Spot fin croaker, white sea bass, bonefish, yellowfin croaker, corbina, well, bonita, barracuda. So all the normal stuff you catch in the bays, throughout the years. And then here's the point: if 4 species, what is that? You get 15 points. 5 species, you get a bonus of 20 points, and then it goes on from there.
Oh,
so that's what you really want, is these bonus points. That's what sets your score apart from other people's scores, because you're only allowed 3 of each of these fish.
Got it.
So the max points you're going to get on a spotted bay bass is 3, 6, 9 points. Once you catch 3 spotted bay bass, you're done. The spotted bay bass after 3 don't count. That goes.
You're going to be weeding
all these.
You're going to be weeding through those spotties. It's going to be the only time in your life we're going to be like, oh man, another spotted bay bass.
Yeah, exactly.
I got a quick question coming in here real quick for you, Chad. It says, question for Chad: when fishing the hookup baits double rig in the bay, what is the leader lengths? I get them twisted up. What can I do to prevent that?
The leader lengths is going to be 30 and 20 inches. That's if you really want to measure them, 30 and 20 is a great measurement. So go by, but the lengths really don't matter as long as they're about 5 inches difference in lengths on the two. But if you're getting them twisting, that's if you don't have a bait that's swimming light. And so if you have a bait that has a tear in it, or something, got messed up by a fish, or the plastic is bent a little bit, it's that non-swimming bait that's going to tingle everything up. If you got both hookup baits that are just swimming correctly, you never get tangled. It's when you got both baits doing this, you're good. When you got one bait doing this and you got one bait doing this, that's when you get tangles. So make sure, if you're getting a lot of tangles or wraps, just put the baits in the water and pull them through the water, and make sure they both run straight. If one's spinning, that's your problem.
And what's that cause from the knot being tied in the back or something, right? A line wrapped around something or something?
You could, it's if you're using heavy line, it could be your tag end is sticking off one side and it's acting as a rudder. You got that, or it's a torn bait, or it was stored in the box wrong, where the tail got curled a little bit or curved a little bit. Those are usually the 3 things that will make a bait not run straight.
Got it. You ever use like a split ring or a clip or anything like that? Try to make
You
it
can.
swivel?
I do sometimes, but I usually just straight tie.
That's your best bet.
It works.
Fail, right?
What's that?
Less things to fail. Less things to tie up, right?
Exactly. And it just looks more natural to me and stuff. So
let me see if I have one more question right here.
One cool tuna. I like the trophy a lot.
Yeah, there you go.
Trophy was cool.
Good.
Yeah.
One cool tuna for the Bloody Decks tournament made these trophies.
I've got like
it's one of his jigs mounted with a plaque underneath it. So yeah, those are pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a few more questions, guys. If you have any questions about the U.S. team qualifier round, please type those in right now.
I got a lot more to talk about that tournament too, so I want to go over some things. So
I have one quick question for you, since we were talking about the species on that. So you said that if you catch a bait, you can use it for bait. That's the only time you can do that, right?
Yeah, if you have to catch your own bait to use live bait.
Okay. So if you
asked about mackerel and like this being the mackerel, jack smelt, lizardfish, they all count as others. So I forgot to go past that. So if it's not on this list, it says right here, others different than what's on this list, they are 1 point.
Got it.
But you're only allowed 3 of them. So if you catch 2 mackerel and a jack smelt, that's 3 points. That's others. So they are worth something, but not much.
And you can only catch a maximum of 3 of those?
Yes.
Got it.
So,
If somebody wants to see all this rule breakdown, is there a web page? Is it the ianglertournament.com?
it has some of that on there, but then if you go to San Diego Anglers webpage, and then on the San Diego Anglers webpage, they'll have tournaments listed, and you click on that tournament, and then there's more info on it there too.
Got it. And of course, if you guys have direct questions, I'm sure you can direct message Chad on our Discord or on Instagram, and he could probably get back to you if you have a question about rules.
And then I can put you in contact with Ken, the guy that's putting it all together. You know, I was consulted to put the species list together and kind of help with the rules. And Ken's been actually talking to the main people with USA Fishing to get, his part of it too and stuff. So, help them make sure it's a good event. And it's going to be an awesome event, guys. It's a 2-day tournament, right? So you got 2 days of fishing, and your entry includes, we got a captain's dinner the first night, and we have a big Italian dinner, I think it is, spaghetti and all that kind of stuff the first night. Then you have breakfast the next morning that's being supplied. And then before everyone goes out fishing, and then there's the awards tournament, or the world's awards dinner, also another dinner. So I think, or it might have been the dinner, not breakfast. I think breakfast is actually, it might be 4 meals. Breakfast, and then I think it's dinner, and then one breakfast in there somewhere, but all free, all part of your mission. So, I mean, so it's just the food and being able to kick back with a bunch of other kayak fishermen and have a meal or 3 together. That's worth the price of admission right there,
Yeah.
And then there's a prize package, money. You can win money. If you don't want to be on the USA team, that's kind of just the bonus of this tournament. It qualifies you to go fish at another tournament in Florida. Then that tournament puts you on the team if you're top 10 on that tournament. But even if you don't want to do that tournament, this tournament still is going to have a really good cash payout. And the main thing it's going to have, go full screen with me, is this.
Here we go. Another one of TB Metal Arts belts. I hold that up real quick. That belt is one of the nice. Todd, round of applause, man.
This is a beautiful belt. I love it. It's like matte gray or
the
gray color. It's really cool. It's even better in person than it is showing on here. That's killer. The winner of this tournament gets this belt, plus the cash prize, plus qualifies to fish the qualifier in Florida. So it's not just for the qualifier. There's actually really cool prizes part of this tournament also. So I plan on keeping this. So if you want it, you got to beat me in this tournament.
Yeah, everybody's saying well done, Todd. Nice belt right there. Judge has a question. He says, one, you catch a mackerel, do you have to use it like a live bait, or can you just cut it up for bait? So I guess the question is, that's what I was wondering too. So you catch a mackerel, right? You get the point. Can you use that? You're saying you could make your own bait. Can you use that, catch a mac at the bait dock and then go over the rocks and try to use it as bait or flip bait?
I think so. I don't. I know with the tournaments we were fishing in Mexico, that's legal. So
perfect.
If you want to do that, you just can't buy bait.
That's what a lot of these guys are probably gonna. Maybe do. I don't know. I don't fish bait, cut bait, or live bait. I use artificials because I think they work better. But for species,
I'm the same way. I would never do bait. You're always going to catch more species and more fish with artificial every time.
Here we go. One more question. Chad, do you have a brick and mortar store in San Diego?
Nope. We just have a manufacturing warehouse. That's where I'm at right here. We have only place we sell our own baits is hookupbaits.com, our online store. So everywhere else is retailers.
Okay, so the date for this, guys, is April 26th and 27th, which is only 2 short weeks away. So signups are available on ianglertournament.com. It's on the screen right there, / Battle Bay. And It's $125 to enter, and it sounds like they feed you at least 3 or 4 times, plus the possibility of winning that belt and also a cash payout. So that's not just one day of fishing; that's 2 days of fishing. So that's a really good value as far as fishing tournaments go. $125 seems like a great value.
And there'll be a big raffle too, also. T-shirt. I think T-shirt comes with it. I think, I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that, but I know he's getting shirts made. The other question I get is if the back bay, it's all of San Diego Bay is open, but obviously you're not going to paddle from Shelter Island. It's going to be at the outboard club there at Shelter Island Launch Ramp. Obviously, you're not paddling from there to the back bay. So what it is, it's going to be on the beach right there, right in front of next to the launch ramp is going to be the starting point of the tournament. Now, if you're going to launch from Shelter Island, you can have your kayak on the beach there, ready to launch. If you want to go to the back bay, you can have your kayak in your truck in the parking lot. And after they do the national anthem and stuff, and the horn blows, everyone has to be on that beach. When the horn blows, half the field can get in their kayaks and go. Half the field can get in their trucks, drive to Pepper Park or Chula Vista, launch and go. Everyone has to be back on that beach at the end of the tournament by the end time. And this is also a video. It's all done by video and catch and release. So no measuring board. You don't have to worry about measuring a fish. And I was kind of concerned about this when I did the tournament in Mexico, but it actually was very easy. You got a GoPro, just before you land a fish, hit record. They just want to see the fish coming onto the kayak, holding the fish, your identifier of who you are, and then releasing the fish. They got to see the fish swim away to know that you let it go. You're not using it again. So there's need to see it coming on, you with the identifier, and then going away. Takes 10 seconds, 15 seconds of video, and that makes that fish qualify. That fish now counts. And then at the end, you're going to get in line. There's going to be like a row of judges. You just go up to them and you have your GoPro, or you can do it on your phone. You can just hit record on your phone, show it in your kayak, pick it up, identify it, and then just keep it recording as it swims away. And then now that's qualifies, right? And then the judge verifies each one of those videos compared to a sheet that you're going to fill out of, okay, I caught 3 spotties, I caught 1 sand bass, I caught 2 calicos, whatever it is, and then verify each one of those things you said you caught. And then that's how your score is determined. So it actually worked pretty smooth in Mexico. I was kind of impressed. It's actually easier than measuring fish.
Yeah, because you're basically just reeling it in, videoing it, and releasing it. There's no holding it down. There's no getting cut.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mel 315 has questions. Is it kayak only?
It's man-powered kayak only. No motors allowed.
Oh, what are you gonna do, Chad?
That's why I got that. That's why I got that Hobie link. That's why I kept that Hobie links.
I'm jealous of that.
Paddles like a dream.
That Hobie links is. I might trade. I was talking to Fastlane 2 days ago after loading and unloading that PA14. I messaged Logan at Fastlane. I said, "Hey, dude, do they have a Lynx with a 360 drive in it yet?" And he's like, "Nope." And I was like, "Oh, I would come down and get that this today."
But I tell you that Lynx turns so fast. You don't need a 360 drive.
Don't need
it. Turns on a dime. It turns very, very well.
I love my PA once it's on the water, but getting it on in and out of that water, oh my god!
It's just as stable as the PA. Really? Standing on it, it feels every bit as stable as the PA. It's pretty awesome.
Next time you're out, I gotta come by and hop on that thing and give her a whirl.
And I put it on my rack. I pick it up like this and put it on the rack by myself. It's so easy. 52 pounds.
Stephen Gage says, with how expenses are nowadays, it's worth it just for the food.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Just the food alone pays for your mission.
Okay, so we'll talk about this a little bit more because we're going to be talking about the fishing trip down in Mexico. So if you guys have more questions about this event, please put them in chat. But it sounds like it's going to be an awesome weekend. The weather now is awesome. The water is getting warmer. The fishing is just going to get better and better. By April 26th, man, it should be a bombing weekend. So yeah, that's going to be a fun event out there, guys.
Yeah,
so
and
once again,
it's a pretty unique tournament with this, how the species and how it's done. It's it's not just spotted bay bass. It's as many species you can catch, and that really shows the talent of an angler being able to catch multiple species. So it's pretty cool. I like the layout of how these tournaments are.
There's one guy I hope who enters this, and we know who it is. The species champ. Well, I guess we got 2 species champ. Alex Norton. Where you at, Alex? You better enter this
no
thing.
Kidding.
You've been waiting your whole life for this event. Him and the judge. Judge, do you still have a kayak? You gonna be able to enter this thing? You two better enter this. Come on, let's get. We want some spotty bowlers to go represent the U.S. team, man. Let's want spotty bowlers to go all the way and then win for the U.S. team, and then we can say, hey, we've got a world champion in spotty bowl. Yep. Come on, spotty bowlers. We're the best kayaker anglers around, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Saltwater. All right, we got these CCA apps and taps coming up. You guys have been to plenty of these. Most of you guys in chat, I've been to these with you guys. I've been to all 3 of them. The 4th annual one's coming up. It is. Where's the date on this, Chad? It's May 17th. So we got a little ways to go for it. Are you going to be at that one? Maybe.
I think so. I don't know.
Me too. I think so
I don't
too.
know. I got to ask my boss what my schedule is.
I'm the same way. I hope to be there. I've been there 3 years in a row. If I'm available, I'll be there. But it is $95 for admission, but that includes your 1-year membership to the CCA, and there's also a ton of raffle prizes, food, music. I've seen Chad get down on the dance floor and boogie down once down there.
Yeah, I had a little bit too much to drink that one.
You have just the right amount to drink.
Yeah, I guess just the right amount. I guess I'm still able to dance, so that's the right amount.
Yep. Okay, guys. Like I said, if you have questions, go ahead and put them in. It's a great show. We love having Chad on here tonight, and we are going to go ahead and get on to this.
How's it going, Spotty Bowlers? We're out here at Lake Barrett. Thanks for watching Snagging Grass and Catching Bass. I'm Bob Brewer. Stay tuned for this upcoming Wednesday night show, 7 p.m.
There you go, Bob. Thanks for that. Okay, Chad. So in the thumbnail, I mentioned this, but you fished the PanAM tournament in La Paz, Mexico. So, guys, we're going to go through a few pictures here. And Chad, that's a pretty cool camping spot right there. For when you sent me this picture, I thought of like the Endless Summer, the old surf video. Those 2 dudes like went down through Mexico and just hit like beach to beach.
It was pretty cool. That was just inshore from Cedros Island. Cedros Island was kind of right up around behind that tree there.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
That looks like perfectly calm, flat water out there too. That looks like perfect kayaking right there.
Yep. We didn't fish there though at all.
Okay, so here's your map. Day one map. So you're coming down from San Diego, and is that, am I reading that wrong, or did that say almost a 9-hour drive?
Yeah, from there to that where that campsite was, that was 8 hours 42 minutes.
I used to go camp in Mexico 2 weeks a year, every year, all the way up to 2007. I stopped going down there very much. But how was the drive? Just the experience of driving 8 hours through Mexico. Was it? I mean, I've been on there sometimes with I was driving a motorhome though, but we're like, people were passing me on blind corners. A little sketchy, but is Mexico driving down there feel good now? Safe?
Yeah, that new highway, that 5 is super easy. You got to watch out for potholes. They got some gnarly potholes, but other than that, it was very light traffic, not much around, and no problems at all. The whole trip, the whole way down to La Paz and all the spots coming back, we didn't have a single problem driving at all.
That's nice. So here's a couple pictures of your campground right here. Man, beautiful setup right there. All right, first of all, so what you're fishing right here is a pre-fish, right?
No, that one was Mag Bay. So yeah, we kind of got screwed up on the order a little bit.
The order is a little out of it. So Mag Bay, describe Mag Bay to us. I've never been to Mag Bay.
Yeah, Mag Bay, it's the most insane spotty fishing you'll ever do anywhere in the world in your whole life.
No way.
hundreds and hundreds of spotties, but you're catching cool stuff like that last fish I had. I don't even know what that was, but we caught a lot of those. This Cabarrus snapper thing here, we got those groupers this size like all the time. So you're catching 13 to 16 inch spotties almost every cast. With every 10 casts, you're catching a grouper or something. It's so cool.
How deep is that there? It looks like shallow bank fishing.
It's shallow, yeah. Along those mangroves right there, it's like 3 feet and drops off to like 8 feet. So it's like super easy. It's fun. It's like fishing pilings. Like it's an endless row of pilings. It's just is what it reminded me of. See, there's a better spotty. Yeah, so we get some spotties.
That looks like to me a legal spotty, wouldn't you say?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, that was like a 15, 16 incher there.
What was the biggest spotty you caught down there?
I think Chris did caught one. I would say he was between 17 and a half inch. He caught one.
No kidding.
Good on. Yeah. But we caught multiple, 15s and 16s every day. We were catching probably 5 to 10, 15 plusers, but a ton of 12 to 14s. Like I made YouTube videos
but
of
that's
all
not
this.
what I wanted to hear. I wanted to hear we caught 20 inchers. That's what I wanted to hear. And then I would make a trip down there.
After fishing this for 3 days, I'm convinced the world record spotty lives in Mag Bay by just how the size of it and how many there is. There has to be some 5-pound spotties there. There has to be.
Mag Bay, how big is it? What do you compare it to?
It's 100 miles long.
Oh my god!
Yeah, it's huge. You'll fish there a lifetime, never fish the same spot twice. It's huge.
Holy smokes! Maybe I need to.
We touched a very little piece. So that fish right there surprised me so much. I was just going along this mangrove and catching 5 spotties, 1 grouper, 5 spotties, 1 grouper, 5 spotties, 1 grouper. All of a sudden,
talking down about potties. You caught 5 spotties and then you accidentally caught a grouper.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden you set the hook and you see this thing just go shooting across the top of the water.
Heck?
And it's like, whoa, what the heck is this?
You caught all these on hookup baits, I'm assuming, right? These are
all hookup baits. Yeah. That's a golden trevally. So they fight really hard.
I thought they were much darker than that. That's a beautiful fish right there.
Yeah.
You could tell the tail looks like a yellowtail's tail. You can tell it's built for speed. Wow.
And so when I was reeling that one in, there was 2 or 3 of them following it. And there was a heavy current going out where this was it was like fishing a river, really. So by the time I landed it, we were hundreds of yards down. So I told Chris, it's right in that section. There's 2, 3 of them with it. So you might catch another one. So he's went through that area and then he caught one. So it's kind of cool. We took turns.
We got a lot of people that are talking about that Mag Bay. Chad, I'm gonna hit you up, man. You got to put together a group and take us all down there. Now that you know the ins and outs.
I believe me. I thought of everybody in this group when I was out there doing it. Like everybody would flip their lid if they're out here doing this.
Who's down for
the most insane bait fishing you'll ever do?
2 days of travel, 3 days of fishing. Who's down for that? Is there a campground by there that we could reserve a spot and everything?
There's tons of places to fish or camp. What we did, because we never been there, and we had a friend of a friend that owned a fishing outfit there. And there's Chris's golden trevally. And then what they did is put our kayaks on a ponga, drive us out in the morning. Now on the way out, they'll say, okay, that point right there, we're going to meet at 5 o'clock. And then keep on driving another 5 miles or so, drop us off and say, okay, see you at 5 o'clock.
You're trusting of those guys to come get you, eh? They better come back. Your truck better be there when you get back.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. So day 2, you travel to La Paz. I'm sorry, I got Mag Bay out of it. So this is actually day 2, right?
Okay. So the first 2 days of traveling. So it was to that first camp spot, which was there. And then, then when we strode straight to La Paz from there. So Mag Bay was after La Paz tournament. So so we're kind of a little bit out of order a little bit. So this is where the tournament was down there in La Paz. So that was a 10-hour drive there. So it was 18 hours. Yeah. So, but we made it there in 18 hours flat. Between the 2 trips, we went faster than the map said. So it was pretty much 18 hours flat. We figured it took us to drive from San Diego to La Paz.
Wow. And did you make that 11-hour drive in one day?
Oh yeah. Yeah. It was just 2 days of driving.
You guys
Yeah,
are
we
animals.
did 2 days. Yeah.
It looks like is this where you were introduced to Berea?
Yeah.
I see the bowl right there.
Was
It's sauce.
Yeah, I don't know. They just everywhere you eat in Mexico, they all have their own little niche of what they do and stuff. Yeah, and they brought this big fruit or vegetable plate out with all kinds of different things in it and all the stuff. It's cool. I mean, I love the food down there, except for the spicy stuff. I don't do spicy, so.
Brett Wilson says, "What's up, champ? Thanks for coming in here tonight." Brett Wilson says, "Me and my brother and some buddies are going right near there. May 1st through 5th. We're going to be fishing the Bahia de Los Angeles. Is that LA Bay? Is the Bay of LA?
Yeah, it's LA Bay. Yeah.
For yellowtail on Pongas. Man, that's a cool trip right there too.
Yeah.
I have actually been there when I was very little. Okay, Mag Bay. So to Loretto. So
Okay, that was you skipped again. So then we did the tournament. We fished the La Paz for a whole week, and then we went from La Paz to Mag Bay. Then we went Mag Bay to Laredo.
Gotcha. And is that the Laredo we all know? I'm assuming first day fishing in Laredo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Yep.
And it looks like Laredo. This is what I would know this place for, and that is it's a volcano there, right in the background.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of mountain ranges like that in the Laredo area. That's the island, that's Carmel Island. That's the big island straight up from Laredo.
That looks like a beautiful yellowtail right there.
Yeah, they're all big. They're all 20 to 28 pounds, I would say. All the yellowtail we caught in La Paz and Laredo were all in that 20-something pound range.
Man, you need to send some of these pictures out of Fastlane to show them what that lynx can do. That lynx is out there catching yellowtail. I see that thing. It only sits like 2 inches out of the water. I'm always like, hey, but man, if it'll land it like that,
it's really easy to slide them on board. I tell you that. That's one cool thing about it.
You're selling me on that thing. Looks like you've got your graph. And did you bring your live scope with you on that?
No, I didn't bring the live scope. It just has that does have the 3-in-1 transducer in it. So I have down scan, regular sonar, and then side scan on that. So
beautiful yellowtail.
I hooked 10 that day. 10 yellowtail, caught 8. So I had a pretty good day. And every single one of them on the watermelon jack 1.5.
My back hurts just thinking of all that. So when you catch a 24-pound or whatever that is, 20-plus pound yellowtail, and you're on that lynx, is that thing just taking you for a ride for a while? Or
you're like making a wake. I mean, you don't notice when there's nothing by you, but I hooked one yellowtail when Chris was kind of facing me and I was facing him. And I went by him like, holy crap, look how fast I'm going.
With your graph,
you're moving.
Get a yellowtail drag race going, top speed.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Oh, cool. So you got looks like a couple. Are those a little different than our yellowtail? The nose looks pointy for some reason. Yeah.
No, they're exactly the same. The same exact thing. So
okay, then you went from Loretto to the Secret Lagoon. Another 5 hours of driving here.
Yeah, and that was the last spot, and that was actually the best Corvina and Corbina fishing I've ever done in my life. I mean, pretty much every single cast for 3 hours, I was catching a 5 to 8 pound Corvina.
Oh my gosh.
That was insanely fun.
Coach Morph's in the chat. What's up, Coach? Glad to have you on here. He says that island that was behind you is known for its own species of rattlesnakes. Oh,
wow. That's gnarly.
All right, there it is. The links, man. I'm telling you, you need to send these to Hobie, man. This is like I said, endless summer looking stuff right here.
That rack was JoJo's idea to get that rack, and that was a lifesaver. That rack is solid. It's made by Elevate, and you find them on Amazon for $280.
No way.
Yeah, that thing was awesome. I still have it on my truck now. I'm like, yeah, I'm keeping that thing on my truck. It's awesome.
It looks like an adjustable lumber rack or something, huh?
It doesn't adjust. That's exactly. There's no adjustments on it. That's just what it is, and it just barely clears the roof of the cab there, and it just sits on it perfect. I mean, we did a lot of dirt roads, off road stuff, and everything. Those kayaks never moved an inch.
Hobie needs to throw a Hobie sticker on that and charge $250 for it.
Hobie would charge $450.
There we go. Looks like another grouper, eh?
Yeah, you got a lot of those groupers. Those are fun. Those things search structure out even more than a spotty does. So, and that's a corvina with a B.
Yeah, the nice looking mouth, right? The like carp
Yeah,
looking mouth.
the carp mouth, but they have teeth in them. That's kind of weird. It's a carp mouth with teeth. It's pretty crazy. But I'll sight fishing those. It's like sight fishing bonefish. A lot of corvina that size.
Corvina, yeah. And
Yeah,
you got your
that's
hand in that
corvina.
corvina's mouth? Oh no, you got
No,
some fish.
I got the lip gripper on them.
Ooh, there's a nice one right there.
That's a nice grouper, yeah. We hooked a lot that size. They end up reaming you every time in the mangroves, though. It went in a kayak. It's hard. As soon as you slip the hook, the kayak goes towards them, and it's hard to get them out, because the kayak moves too easily. So it's really, you got to get really lucky to get one of those out of the mangroves. And Chris was able to get it done.
That's how all those bass seem to do. They get snagged up in something. Man, yeah, I got a story about that later. But it looks like California halibut. That's our species, right? Yeah. And
I was sight fishing those while you're sitting there paddling around. A lot of this bay was only 3 to 6 feet and crystal clear. And you go along, you see a halibut, and almost every halibut you see, you put the hookup bait next to his face, and they just attack it. It's kind of cool to sight fish halibut.
That is pretty cool. Another corvina looks like. Last day fishing for the trip in the secret lagoon. Man, you look like you're in some shallow water there.
Yeah, that's a super shallow and super clear. But I was fishing 25-pound leader, and they're biting at every single cast. Not leader shy at all. So
here's Coach. Here's his comment. Spotty's the best. You know what, Coach?
Best bait ever. Oh, so
we don't use spotties for bait.
Oh, here, you're gonna love this one. So,
I don't know if it's about a bad story about a spotty. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, you want to hear it.
All right.
So in Mag Bay, we're telling the guys how many spotties we're catching every day, and it's kind of their off season right now. And the place we went out, it was they do sport fishing. It's a restaurant and a hotel, and it's all ran by a family. And they're wanting fish. So they're like, hey, can you keep some of the fish for us? And I'm like, and so the last day we just kind of stayed. We had the kayaks with us, but we just stayed on the bonga. They brought a big ice chest. And every spotty we caught, he says, ceviche. They love spotty ceviche. And so they're like, okay, this is what they do here. And so we ended up having a pile of about 60 spotties from 13 to 16 inch.
All right, guys, we're going to end the show now. It was nice to talk to you, Chad. We'll see you guys next week on Snagging Grass and Catch Bass. We're at.
Right? I was like, you would get shot if you did that in California. Absolutely, somebody would shoot you. But that's what they do there.
Got a plethora down there, even though I don't own this. But hey,
we were actually saying that just the day before. We were like, man, it feels like we would catch a lot more like grouper and other cool fish if there wasn't so many spotties. Seems like there's an overpopulation of spotties, so it didn't feel too bad killing them.
We need to have, I think somebody mentioned here, we need to have one of our rounds of Spotty Bowl down there. Maybe the Grand Championship. So it looks like more corvinas. First day of the pre-fish. I think I got that out of order.
Yeah, but, so this will be in La Paz. This is where the tournament was.
We got quite an angle there going there, Chad.
That's the way it goes.
Camera angle.
Nice Sierra mackerel you have there.
All right, we're gonna move on to the next picture there.
So that was the first yellowtail of the trip.
Yellowtail looks strange to me. I don't know. Maybe it's just the wide angle lens or something on it. I don't know. Its mouth looks different to me than ours.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong.
So that was the first day of fishing of the trip. Was right there. It was that day. So, and we started the trip. We were catching a lot of fish, a lot of pargo, a lot of a couple yellowtail, but we're catching snapper. We're catching the triggerfish, the needlefish, all the stuff that counts as points. Right. We're getting we're getting the 4 to 5 species every day of the pre-fishing. So. And then the last day of pre-fishing, I caught 2 yellowtail, a big pargo, a snapper, triggerfish, and, 3 triggerfish, 3 needlefish. So I was like, the day before the tournament, I got a 140-point day, which is, pretty good. So I was feeling great with the pre-fishing. And then we
When
had
you
2
got
wins.
back from all this, did you sleep for like 4 days?
Actually, I slept really good in Mexico. Especially in Mag Bay, they had this cute little room that was super quiet, and they had the window open, so they had the ocean breeze coming in.
Oh,
I slept harder there than I've slept in like the last 5 years.
Because you were exhausted.
Oh, we were catching a lot of these skipjack tunas. They call them white tuna. We're catching a lot of them, and they're big, pretty big, 10-pounders, and they pulled hard. I was a big pargo the first day.
Oh, cool. Pargo, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a fatty too right there.
Oh yeah, they're big ones. One of the guys on the team caught a 25-pound pargo. It's just like,
wow,
huge, and he caught it on a watermelon jack 1.5. Watermelon jack was the bait the whole trip. Was like,
no kidding.
It caught everything.
Doubling up.
I was fishing the double rig. We caught both of those together.
Ooh. Triggerfish,
big,
right?
Big triggerfish.
You get a triggerfish on hookup baits. That's amazing. Because that's amazing. Those things are gnarly.
Yeah, you ruined a lot of baits because of those bastards too. So, but they were worth 5 points. So
yeah, no,
we had to catch them.
We were catching those when we went to when I went with the judge and Roman and Eric down in Cabo. We caught a lot of those. Those are all over the place. Oh, here we go.
Sharks. So I was catching more sharks than ever. One day I caught 5 or 6 sharks one day. And then on tournament day, I caught 2 or 3 sharks, and nobody else was catching sharks. Every once in a while, somebody, I think on the team, I heard like 2 people catch sharks. I kept catching sharks everywhere I went. I was like, why am I catching all these damn sharks? And then they thought I was
shark with is that like a smoothhound shark or a
no? These things they got some teeth on them.
Oh,
they're pretty gnarly. Yeah, and all the guys on the team thought I was absolutely nuts for handling them. They just cut their lines to bring them up. I was like, I ain't scared of that thing.
Till that thing turns and bites your nose or your face. Have you seen that video? That guy that pulls in that fish and it grabs his finger and starts wrapping around and
that's pretty gnarly.
I still cringe when I think about that one. It's a nice fish. All right, here we go. This must be the deep water spotties because I saw this picture. I'm like, wait, is that his thumb? I'm like, no. What's going on here?
Yeah, they're blowing up like rockfish. So I was cruising along, second day pre-fishing, and on my meter, I just see like a little fuzzy rock kind of thing at 165 feet. So I grab my double rig. Let's see what's right here. Drop it down there. It gets almost to the bottom. Mine just starts flying off. Set the hook. Oh, cool! I got a snapper or a grouper or a rockfish or something.
Right.
Bring it up. And it was a spotted bay bass, and I'm like, "What?" And then
deep?
it was 165 feet.
Oh my gosh!
But then on tournament day, I found another spot in a different area. Pretty much that point that's behind us that you see in the background. That's actually the point we fished the tournament in. Was that point? This day we went south, and then tournament days we were going north. Was the closer area, and in that area I caught spotties in 180 feet on the bottom.
Oh.
When I brought it up, I couldn't believe it. I'm sitting there studying. I go, are these the same spotties that we catch in California? Looked at it and everything. It is definitely the same spotties we catch in California. They're just living out in open ocean at 165, 180 feet.
I was going to say this, but Coach beat me to it. I know there's a gold spotted bass that are similar that get bigger. And sometimes it's like people from Mexico take a picture of one of those. And I think those get like 6 or 8 pounds.
I caught those in Laredo, the same trip. We did catch the golden spotted ones. Yeah. And those are almost like a mix of a spotty and a sand bass. They look like sand bass on the top, and they look like spotty on the bottom, and they have more yellow fins than these do. So
these are
definitely wasn't one of them. These were full on spotties.
Man, why can't our spotties learn to go out like in front of La Jolla? Because if they can live, that'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. Let's spotties, get with it.
And that one I caught right there, that was a 16-incher right there. That one I'm holding. So there's some good ones down there too.
The world record's got to be down there. It is. It's got to be. If you think about it, I don't know.
Yeah. Out in the open ocean like that. These are snappers we're catching.
Okay, third day looks like another 2 hour, 20-minute drive.
So this was the wind. So we had 2-day wind delay. So we were down there. We had 3 or 4 days of pre-fishing, and then the wind came up, and they had to delay the tournament for 2 days because the wind was up. And so, one day we sat around the resort, and then I was like, okay, there's no way I could sit around for 2 days. Let's go got on Windy app, looked around, and there was a little pocket of wind right there where the red dot is. And there was a point that came out. The red dot's kind of covering the little point, and the wind direction was blowing straight down the coast. So I was like, right around that point, it should be doable. So we took the 2-hour drive, which an hour of it was on dirt road. And we got up there, and I'm like, oh, yeah, it looks doable. And launched. We went out there, and I was fishing, and I launched like Chris had to, go to the bathroom and stuff. That was during pre-fishing of the tournament in La Paz. But so I was out there for an hour, and then I seen birds breaking out where the water got big. And so I went out there to see what the birds were doing. And then the water got even bigger. The wind picked up a little bit, and the swell got real steep. And then I'm like, I got to get out of here. It's getting too gnarly, nasty. So I turned and started hightailing it out of there. And one of the waves caught my back corner and rolled me. So I rolled my kayak.
You're going too far ahead here, Ray. Hold on.
Yeah.
Let me skip for here. So day 4.
That was the rollover day. Yeah.
Let me show a picture, guys. So he just told the story. How'd you roll it, by the way, before I show the picture here?
Yeah. So yeah, just a wave. I was paddling out. I had 3 waves come in a row, a set of 3 waves, and they were super steep and white capping on top, white capping pretty hard. So I turned my kayak into them, went over those 3, and I'm like, okay, those are gnarly. I need to get out of here. So I turned. I started going down swell, and also I hear that, right behind me. I look over my shoulder. I see that wave just come in, and it's crashing. I'm like, oh God, here we go. And it caught my back corner and just kind of did one of these things and rolled me over.
Man, what would have been sick is if he would have just stood up like it was a Link surfboard and rode that thing, man.
Yeah, right. That would have been rad. I was leaning back. I was like, I knew it was coming, so I was like leaning and trying to steer out of it and stuff, but it just went. And yeah,
there you are. That was without a hat.
That was after the roller. Yeah, I lost my hat. I lost 2 fishing poles. My phone got wet and died. Lost a little box of Hookup Baits. I had a day box of Hookup Baits. But and Chris comes in. Chris was just getting out as I was coming back in. Because I was out like a mile behind where you could see. I was out probably about a half mile out past where this picture was taken. So I come rolling back in with his life jacket like this, and Chris is just cracking up, laughing at me. He thought the jacket malfunctioned, or I accidentally pulled the cord or something. So he's cracking up, and I'm like, dude, I was in the water for like 15, 20 minutes. And he's like, no way, you rolled? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, holy crap. So,
dude, you're lucky you're lucky you had your Yak Attack box tethered down. I could see it tethered, but you could have lost everything.
Yeah. I mean, I wish I would have used the little tethers to clap onto the rods, because then I would have not lost 2 rods. I had a rod in my hand, and I had a rod in my side holder. And when it flipped, the rod in the side holder was still out, and I was able to hook the line with my leg and pull it up and save the second rod with my leg. So I had 4 rods. I lost 2, but I was like, all right, well. I'm still alive. Let's fish.
You're lucky. I want to say you're lucky out there by yourself.
Yeah. So that was the first fish. That was like, as soon as Chris got done laughing at me, and I said, yeah, let's fish. I made 2 casts, and I caught that. I'm like, there you go.
Nice.
I feel better now.
You know what saved you is you got those mandals on those, and those things float, right? You got floating mandals. Those are dad shoes right there if I've ever seen them. Dude, you need to take those out with socks on one night.
and I forgot to mention, so that life jacket, is the one of the inflatable ones, and I had it on way too loose. So when it went off in the water, it was like this.
Choking you out?
It was around my head. I couldn't do anything. It was choking me out.
I think I told a story about that. Somebody in San Diego flipped their kayak, and it literally went up under their armpits, and the thing was above their head.
Exactly. That's what it was doing to me. Yeah. It kind of screwed us up. So
okay, so it looks like
this is back to La Paz.
You want to go back to La Paz?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. La Paz.
Yeah, so that was the last day of pre-fishing. I caught that guy. Well, and then
Another
so yeah,
beautiful
that
yellowtail.
was on the 1.5 watermelon jack, and then that one was on a 1 ounce red crab.
Jeez,
So
that thing like 50 inches long.
yeah,
Thing's
they're
huge.
nice. Oh, yeah, they're good ones. Yeah, there was no such thing as small yellowtail. And then I caught that the day before pre-fishing, so that was all these fish were the day before the tournament.
Man, and you're getting that thing on a spinning reel?
Everything spinning reel.
Wow, what's a fight like with a 50-inch
Well,
yellowtail on a spinning reel?
well, to tell you the truth, like the team members on this, they're all the team. There's 14 team members on Team USA, and they're handpicked from all over the country. And there's probably 3 of them from Florida, and I know there's 2 or 3 from Texas, then Maine, Alaska, Washington, Oregon, Hawaii, and almost everybody on the team fish spinning reels.
No kidding, huh?
There's very
Maybe
few
because-
that fish conventional reels.
Maybe because you don't want because you're out there so long, you don't want the backlash or everything that goes along with the bait caster.
I just
That's a
think
fight,
it's
dude.
the only people that use conventional reels still is the
Bass
California.
anglers.
California.
Largemouth guys, I guess.
Yeah, everyone else is already doing spinning reels.
There's a
So,
pile.
yeah,
It looks like jacked up hookup baits. Man,
Yeah, so every night, all the team members, I just told team members, you got chewed up hookup baits, throw them on the table, and so I did hookup bait repair every night. So just repaired everyone's
Repair?
hookup baits, then left them on the table, and then they come and grab them, put them back in their boxes every night. So
don't you know a guy who can hook you up with them? What are you repairing these things for?
because you don't want to carry thousands of blood heads down there.
Yeah, I guess.
So,
I would think
yeah.
that. Yeah, I guess. No,
So I brought a
no
lot of
replacement
replacement bodies. I brought
Yeah.
2 bottles of Mend It. So I was doing Mend It on the ones I can mend it, and then just replacing the bodies on the ones that you couldn't mend it. So.
Yeah, I love the Mendit stuff. You guys don't know what Mendit is. It's like it comes in like this nail polish bottle. Actually, it looks like a little nail polish brush. And you just put it on one end of the bait, put it on the other, and hold it together and set it on the table, and it fuses itself together. It's a great product. I think the Mendit, there's some also other brands of it. All right, let's see here. Todd TB Millet says, man, I've rolled my so many times in La Jolla, not even funny. One time the bait tank crushed my head. Ooh.
Oh, jeez. That's why I stopped fishing La Jolla, because I did the same thing there. I rolled there coming in.
Ron Lee says, yeah, he says lots of fun catching big yellowtail and spinning gear. Yeah, I don't know.
I was with Ronnie when he caught a 41 pounder on spinning gear. And I told Ronnie, hey, Ronnie, cast right there. And he casted right there and caught a 41 pounder.
Oh my gosh. Corey King, good to have you in here. He says he's late, but he's here. What's up, Corey? I think I'm kind of bitter about the spinning reel because Kevin Nakata put me on a bluefin on a spinning reel, 4,500 size, and
that's way too small.
Oh
I'm
my
doing
gosh, Chad!
I'm doing 6,000.
I collapsed at the end. Let's just say there.
Well,
Big Miller has a question. He says, "What is your favorite hub scent?"
Ooh, probably those 3 that you see in the picture right there. Those are my 3 favorites. That's crawfish, garlic, and crustacean. The red one is crustacean. So
lime, vanilla, and cherry.
I pretty much go between those 3. It's more the color. I like certain colors with different baits. Is more my thing. I think I came to a conclusion of that. As long as it smells like something good, they like it. So they all smell like something good. It's more of what color do you want to add to your bait? Do you want a white belly? Do you want the green belly? Do you want a red belly? Is what I go for more so than anything.
And you just load it up, right? You take that thing and you jam it in there and just fill it, right?
Yep, fill it up.
All right, let's go ahead and skip forward to this part. So congratulations. Round of applause, Chad.
Yeah, silver medals. So that's the team. So they do individual medals and then team medals. So there's only one guy that got individual on our team. He got a silver in the individual, and then we had a girl. Each team was allowed 2 girls, and so the U.S. girl Annie, she got the gold medal in the women's, and then they tally up the scores as a team, and then of each team. And Mexico, of course, we couldn't beat them on their home court, so they beat us, but not by very much though. So.
I bet you those guys from Maine are like those Southern California guys. Maine is such a different style of fishing, and Alaska, I imagine that, because we kind of have similar fish.
Well,
But
Chris,
what were
right here,
those guys
the
like
guy-
from Maine and Alaska? What were they thinking? How'd they
well,
do?
the guy, that's the Alaska guy right there, the guy I traveled down
Okay.
with.
Okay.
So he's from California, but he's been living in Alaska for the last 10 or 12 years guiding up there. So his address is in Alaska still, but he's originally from California.
Wow, what a trip, Chad. You're never going to
Yeah.
forget this. How many total days were you down there? 2 weeks?
The whole trip was 18 days.
Man.
So,
Jojo, you were cool with that? I guess so.
she held down the fort. So because of
I know.
her,
I
was
saw
able to
her
do it.
working. I saw her working hard at the PCS show while you were down in
Yeah.
Mexico having a good time. She was up here selling baits.
And I got to thank my team for that too. It's, when they invited me to be on the team, the first thought was, "Oh, that's the same weekend as PCS." So
Yeah.
we had to make sure our team was gonna, be there and handling it, so I can go do this. So thank you for the Hookup Baits team for coming together and handling the show, and so I can go do this. It was awesome.
I went over there and checked on them. They were doing good. You had Frank and Dale there. All the big hitters were there. You were fine.
Yeah,
That's what
Tom,
everybody's down there to see anyway.
Cash, both caches. So
Oh yeah,
Yep.
both caches. Tom, of course. What's up, Tom? All right, you ready to do this, Chad?
you see what my girl said. Homecoming was great. Yes,
All
it
right,
was.
Guys, like I said, we're gonna go ahead and hit it right into PB shout outs here, but that was some great stories right there. And if you guys have more questions for Chad, you can spotty bowl, hookup baits, whatever questions, fishing questions, go ahead and put those in chat right now. But we're gonna go ahead and move on to this. Hold on a second.
What's up? This is Dave Rage, and you're watching Snagging Grass and Catching Bass.
We've seen you out on the water. They say you fishing harder. I guess we'll find out this week on our PB Shout Out!
It's been a while, Chad, since I've done this. So I was practicing before the show, but here we go. If you didn't know, that's Cal up front, double fisting. What's up, Cal? If you guys have a picture or a fish of PB that you want to send it in to me. Brian likes to fish on Instagram or Discord, and I'll put on anything. If you got a picture of a PB or a fish from the past or a modification to your kayak or boat or anything you're proud of, something you caught and cooked, send it to me. Get you on PB shout outs. All right, here we go. First up, let's get this going here, get Chad in here so you can see some of these PBs. We got this guy right here. What's up, Jerry, also known as Geronimo? What's going down? Eric, your son, sent me in this picture. Jerry, who's 93 years old, watches the show every Wednesday. What's up, Jerry? Round of applause. Thank you. Appreciate it. 93-year-old watching snagging grass and catching bass. That's awesome. Jerry says, we were coming back from fishing calicos and decided to make a few final casts on the jetty. Jerry hooked into this big one and was struggling to keep it away from the rocks. Oh, we know all about that, huh, Chad? When you catch spotty in the jetty, they're usually not in the middle of the jetty. They're usually like hiding in a rock. So you'll see guys like Chad and Brett and me and all the spotty bowlers. We're not in the middle of that channel. We're on the edges usually trying to get them in those rocks. And they go right back to where they went. He said he was struggling to get it out of the rocks. So he said he actually had to use the trolling motor to pull them away because his dad wasn't making any progress. And I think that is Jerry's PB. That thing looks massive. He said they didn't have a scale or a measuring device, but he thinks that thing was, I don't know, maybe 17 inches. I don't know. That's an awesome looking fish right there.
Yeah, that's a good one for sure.
That is a good one. It looks like he got it on a Texas rig. I'm going to say Berkeley Gulp Luke. Nuclear chicken color.
That's what it looked on an owner sled head.
There we go. Also caught this right here. What's up, Jerry? Incredible. Using a spinning rod. There you go. Using a spinning rod and a Rapala jerkbait intended for calico. He landed this 52-pound sea bass on Father's Day. Happy Father's Day, Jerry. Wow, 52-pounder. Sea bass for me, I don't even know how to target them. Anytime I catch one, they're usually small, but it's just like I get lucky. I don't know. Is there a specific thing you can do, Chad, to land these?
We've caught a lot of them here over the years and just fishing. And every single one of them, we were just fishing bass with hookup baits. And they come through and you catch them.
whatever you're fishing, there's guys out there like I think Chris Blevins and a few guys that know some spots that can go out there and maybe go get one. But for me, it's like just all of a sudden, hey, look at that thing! Holy mackerel!
Well, there's one day where I did target them, but it was because I caught a 60-pounder the day before, and so I went right back out there and just threw just for them, and I caught a 60-pounder again that day. So that's the only time I caught 60 pounders 2 days in a row here in San Diego. That was 3 or 4 years ago. Yeah, they're big ones.
What's a fight like on a 60-pound white sea bass?
Yeah, with a 6,000 spinning reel.
Oh, yeah, well, at least you had a big header reel. We're out there with like a 35 or 2,500 or some kind of spotty rod. Also, Jerry landed this 4-pound smallmouth on a square bill crankbait at Lake Mojave, casting near the wall at dawn. Yeah, it's a nice smallmouth game. How's your smallmouth game?
Oh yeah, they love the hookup baits, so it's pretty strong. So
smallmouth, I love not very many
like
experience with those.
That's the freshwater spotted bay bass.
Yeah,
what it is.
That's exactly what I was going to say. When I fished Lake Mead or the river, they're out there, and that's exactly how they hit, and that's exactly what they feel. It's like, oh, there's spotty out here.
Yeah, exactly.
And lastly, he caught this guy right here, which is a little chunker he caught at PV. I'm not sure where PV is, but he caught that at PV.
Palos Verdes.
Palos Verdes. That's what it is. All right, good. I'm glad you have you on here. Jerry Geronimo, that is awesome. Way to keep slaying. 93 years old. Thanks for watching the show. We appreciate you out there. Way to slay it up there. Next up, oh, here we go. This is a killer photo.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
And that is a last one. He says it's a cast at dawn. That is pretty cool. And there we are, Jerry tying a knot. Yep. I think that guy's tied a few knots in his time, Chad.
Yeah. I hope I'm still 93 out there doing it. That's awesome.
Jerry's hands look way better condition than mine and yours. That's the sad
thing. Yeah. Oh, after that Mexico trip, my hands were an absolute mess. I mean, catching hundreds of fish for 10 days in a row and out in the sun, my hands look like they're 120-year-old hands. it was gross.
Have you ever seen the movie The Dark Crystal when like the Skeksis hold their hands up and they're all, that's what our hands look like? Or when Dumbledore touches a Horcrux and it curses his hand, that's what mine and Chad's hand looks like. Next up, we got this guy, your guy right here. We got Cash the fisherman. Cash, man, he's been doing great this year. He had him on, I don't know if you watched, but of course you watched. I had him on the show last week, man. One of our youngest anglers in the Masters division, and man, he's doing good this year.
Yeah, he's a slayer for sure. And he pays attention. That's what he did. That's what makes him so good. He pays attention and puts it to work. He's a sponge.
And he fishes like 3 days a week, I think. So
and a lot of time on the water too. That's true.
Cash says, this is a photo of my personal best sand bass, which I caught on the double rig using the 5/8 mint and a 1-ounce watermelon jack during last week's OBD tournament. I was fortunate enough to get a double up, which one fish weighed 3.5 pounds and the other one 4 pounds. That's a big double right there, especially for San Diego Bay. There's some big ones in San Diego Bay, but 4 pound is, that's probably like a standard big, you rarely
that's the kind of double you want on a tournament day for sure.
Oh, for sure. And it's rarely, you can get 4 pounders. What's a 4 pounder? About a 19-inch fish?
Yeah, 18, 19 fish.
19-inch fish. And those you can get, but to get like that 6 pounder, that's like a hard thing to do inside of the bay.
Yeah.
We have a question for you from Tom. He says, what is the best bait combo for shallow rock fishing?
For shallow, that'd be double 1.5s. I would definitely use the 3-way swivel, number 2, the owner 3-way, number 2 swivel, and a 1.5 ice, and then 1.5 of any other color you want to throw hookup baits. And they'll eat them both. They'll eat them all. So just double 1.5 shallow water.
Says both of these catches were surprise. My personal best 18 inches, just what you thought. 18 inches. Please excuse the quality of the photos. I was attempting to conceal my catch from the. Is that something he's been taught? Conceal my catch from the other boats in the vicinity. He's got his jacket over it. Nice job, Cash. Already a veteran tournament angler.
Yep.
There we go.
Watermelon jack.
That's bigger than an 18. That must be the 18 must be
the bigger one.
Oh, his previous was an 18. Okay, so that's the bigger one right there.
Yeah.
There's your double hookup right there.
Yeah.
All right, next up, we got this guy. What's up, Josh? Josh says, marlin fresh caught like this is arguably the best all-around fish I've ever eaten. Sashimi, sushi, ceviche, grilled, you name it. We got it. We were using a squid jig to the marlin to get the marlin close to the boat, and then we pitched out a live mac or mullet, and bam! Look at that thing. Dang, how's your marlin game?
I'd seen one on the second day of the tournament. Marlins were the highest point value, and I actually seen one on the second day of the tournament, and I had a hookup bait ready to go just for a marlin. It was an 8-inch bait, mackerel colored, with just a ounce and 3/4 ounce head in it with a 9-out hook. And I've sight fished marlin with them before and had them light up on them and chase it to the boat. So it's one of my bucket lists to sight fish a marlin with a hookup bait. So, and I got the hookup bait for it now too. That one I explained, big bait with a light head.
Dude,
So-
if you hooked up that marlin right there on that Lynx kayak, you'd be all the way back to San Diego before that thing wore out. That would be an insane ride right there. You better lean back, man. You better
I plan on going to Mag Bay next year or this year and doing it. So they said Mag Bay. I talked to the guys that were taking us out. They say go in October, November, and there's a lot of marlin around and stuff. So and a lot of smooth days where they'll take you out there, drop you off, and say, "All right, go catch a marlin."
On a kayak, you guys are nuts.
Yep.
I don't even know
On
what
a
I did when I
kayak.
got to the side of the boat. That's nuts. You do that, make a video of that, please. I got to see that.
Yeah. Plan on it.
He says we used a short rod with 100-pound mono, a 12-aught live bait hook. The fight was just over 2 hours long. So if they're getting in on a big boat like that for 2 hours, what are you going to be on your kayak? Are you going to be out there like 6 hours? I guess the kayak would work as like the drag system
Yeah,
too.
exactly.
Man,
You can do a lot. That's one thing with catching so many yellowtail on this trip is I learned that you can use a lot smaller rod on a kayak than you can on a boat because your kayak is the drag.
Right. I've heard many people that catch big fish that say that. Kevin Nakata, I think, is the one I interviewed who told me about that. Yeah, the kayak works as the drag, and you just sit there and hold on, and it wears them out.
Mm-hmm.
In the beginning of the video, the marlin jumped. He said it jumped roughly 20 times. That's another scary thing about that. And it says right here, man, that's a nice rooster fish right there. Got one of those yet?
I've caught them, but not on this trip. But I've gotten quite a few of them on the East Cape, all on hookup baits. But there was none around. No one in the whole tournament caught a rooster fish. So
No kidding. Yeah, when we went down to Cabo with the judge and Eric and Roman, I caught I think 2 or 3 of those on live bait though, because that's all they would bite. That's it. And they were tricky to get, and they were tricky little guys. But I heard the guy told me if you go there in a certain month like June, he says it's just every cast wide open. So I guess it's a certain time of the year you go down to get those.
yeah.
It says the fight. Hold on a second here. The rooster fish was caught on a live mullet in Cabo, 100-pound mono on the Pacific side. To me, the rooster fish fought like a bass. Always release them despite their massive size. They are surprisingly fragile and sometimes die. Yeah, they are. They're not like a spotty.
So they say they fight until they're gassed of everything. They put everything into the fight, so they're hard to revive a lot of times.
Well, nice job on that, Josh. That's a killer trip it looks like down there. I'm super jealous of you guys. And here we go. Let's get back to what we all know and love here. If you don't know who that is Bent Brewing. That is Ben Wilson. What's up, Ben? He says, not sure if it was just me, but those MDR spotties were especially grumpy. Dang, tell me about it, Chad. How was your MDR experience?
I caught a lot of fish. I just couldn't find the right fish. But I caught 40, 50 fish that day. Just not the right ones for some reason.
Well, you know what you did wrong? You didn't pay your penny to the bay. You didn't tell her she was a good girl. You didn't put your hand in there and pray.
Maybe I had the wrong hat on that day or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's something. He says, I accidentally put the reel in free spool when I landed this thing to grab my net, and it bounced out and I thought it got away. Ooh, that's scary. This was definitely one of the hardest fighting spotties I've ever pulled on me. My drag was buttoned down almost, and for a second I couldn't reel him in. Not sure why it's just me, but the MDR spotties are special. There might be a theory to that. Somebody, I think I was talking to Brett, and he's saying that, us spotty bowlers haven't gone up to that bay yet. So maybe, you know, I don't know how much pressure that gets, but those spotties may be like, you know, this is new to them being caught. Our spotties in Mission Bay, they know the routine. We've caught those fish for 5 years, the same fish over and over and over again. They're just like, all right, get me in, get me out, take your picture. I know the routine. But I think, yeah, these guys up here, man, they're fresh and ready and young, ready to go, man. No holes in their mouths.
During COVID, I was going there a lot, both in boat and kayak, and because there was no traffic going there, so we were flying up there a lot, and we're having 100, 200 fish days. I mean, it was just insane. There's a lot of fish, but not many big ones. I was surprised how many big ones came out of the tournament because my past fishing up there, it's rare to get one 16 inches, you know, so they must have grown up a little bit since COVID, I guess.
Well, Sammy, who's like an awesome spotty angler, went up there, and I guess he struggled like the weeks prior to this. Like it was like hard to catch fish, but I think we planned our spotty bowl round because we planned on this.
It was a biting day. Yeah,
we just had a good day, man. Good day.
And it seemed like the second and third days were better than the first day.
You just never know, man. That's one of the things about Spotty Bowl. You got to look at those times. Now we have 3 time slots, 3 different days. You got to look at it. Usually it just dictates what day I can fish. But
me and Cash were talking, you know, after we had our rounds, and Jared, and we all launched together and stuff, and we're like, man, between the 3 of us, we sore lipped, you know, a couple hundred spotties. Yeah, we're feeling sorry for the guys that were coming behind us, but then everyone else caught fish just fine. So
you got all the small ones out of the way, man.
Exactly.
On Saturday on Saturday it was nothing but bigs. I think Mike Brown had like 615s before the sun came up. I don't know.
It almost seemed like exactly what you said. We sore lipped all the small ones, and then you guys came and got all the big ones. I don't know.
Thanks, guys. We appreciate you doing that for us. Next up, we got this guy right here. I got to fish with him this weekend on an exclusive event, invite only, to Lake Barrett. Oh, I got some stuff to tell about this. That's Bob Brewer. If you didn't know, I started out fishing in the cold weather. Oh my gosh, you forget how cold it is when you go freshwater fishing early in the morning. Oh my gosh, like the bay is usually always not too bad, but man, my hand after like 10 casts was just like locked up, frozen, man. And my son went up there in nothing but sandals, no socks, and he got out on the water, and he had to pull his sweats down and put them over his feet. It was freezing. Let me just tell you that. Started out with the Z-Man jackhammer bladed jig, caught a few fish, and then the Soen rose, and I switched to a wacky rigged Senko, which was great for casting for the smaller bass. Later in the day, I used a Spro fat fly at 20, 30 feet deep of water. It started catching some larger fish. Some were weighing up to 4 pounds. It was my first time in Lake Barrett, and it was a great experience overall, and we'll definitely be back. Yes, I am with you, Bob. I love that. My first time there too, and I love that place. Have you fished Barrett?
Oh yeah. It's been a few years, but a couple of years ago I went 2 or 3 times, and it was 100 fish days every time. They absolutely love the hookup baits and the bluegill and the crappie. It was like almost every cast of one. The first time I went there was on opening day. And every single cast I made that day, I got bit or caught a fish. And it was bass, crappie, bluegill, bass, crappie, bluegill. And the crappie and bluegill are.
Oh, yeah. I got my PB crappie there this weekend, too.
Yeah.
It was nice seeing you out there, Bob. Here's another picture of it. Looks like, man, at least a 3 or 4 pounder right there. That was a weird. The standard size out there was like I would say 2 to 2.5. Like when you were catching, I think I caught
a lot of those. Yeah,
I didn't catch 100 fish, but I caught 38 fish, and I think most of them were 1 pound to 2.5 pound range. All right, here we go. We got Drake King. What's up, Drake King? Man, it's been long since we've done PB shout outs. We got a lot of good ones. Thanks for sending these in, guys. He says, Cody Stickle, a professional bass fisherman from the Bass Masters, took me out on Lake Mojave for 6 hours. During that time, I caught my personal best smallmouth, weighing 4 pounds, 10 ounces. Dang. Caught it on a bed using a drop shot with a small white dart style salt plastic lure. Dang, smallmouth, man. That's a fun fish right there. If you guys have never been smallmouth fishing, dude, like we said, it's closest freshwater fish to a spotted bay bass right there. And they get big though. And we got a video. Guess what? We got a video sent in too. Look at that. Look how clear that water is.
Yeah.
Have you ever fished up there?
Yeah.
At Mojave?
Yeah. I fished Mojave and below Mojave, and above Mojave at Willow Beach. So yeah, I fished all through that area.
The One Bass Open has moved to Mojave. It used to be Lake Mead, but I think because when the water level went down, maybe it was hard to launch those 250 boats, so they moved it to Mojave. But it's been, I don't know if they're still sticking there, but yeah, Mojave there. All right, let's check out this video here.
Bam.
Man, a boy.
I was like, no.
Oh, nice
Jumped in the
job.
net. Yeah, spotty. Smallmouths are definitely fun.
Oh yeah. On that light bass gear too. Oh, nice.
Yep.
Looks like a beautiful. That looks like typical Mojave to me. It's got that like monsoon weather all the time up there. Man, you got to get off the water there before like.
Nice one.
Yeah, they got their sweaters on, but still, that's pretty cool. It's not that hot yet.
You got to get off that water though pretty dang quick, because when those big lakes like kick up with that high wind, it's like being out in the ocean. I'm not kidding, guys. It is burly out there. You got to be careful on those lakes. Next up, we got this guy, Jared the Fisherman. What's up? Cash's dad right there landed a 17-inch spotty, 2.5 pound, using a custom Cash-made rod with a 6-gill spinner on a 15-gram Reaper gauge. It was my personal best. The fight was exciting, and I was thrilled to catch it. That's all he's got to say. Well, 17, man, with the gut, dude. What do you say the weight was on that? Man, I'm surprised that thing's not only 2.5 pounds. 17-inch with a gut, huh?
Yeah.
Must have been long and skinny. Looks fat though.
Yeah. Looks good.
Look at this thing right here. We got Derwin Chang. We got Derwin on here. Chang Gang 65. What's up, man? That is a beast right there. During a bass fishing trip in Dana Point, I caught a 67.5 pound fish using a gulp jerk bait and 15-pound line. The fish weighed. The fish was weighed on a verified. Is that the world record on 15-pound line? You better look that. You better look that up, Derwin. That's insane, man.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That, on the kayak too. That must have been a heck of a fight to see. All right, here we go. So, man, they're just getting in the kayak right there. Look at that thing. Jeez, Louise.
That wasn't recent though. Darren's got hair. He's got hair like mine now. He's got long hair. So that's not recent.
That to me looks like a white sea bass day with that foggy like La Jolla kind of, you know what I mean? When you go to La Jolla, it looks like that in the morning, and it's nice and calm, and you can smell the mackerel.
Yep.
That looks like a fishy day right there. All right, here we go. Next up, I got this in the Bay Bass tournament this weekend. I called it a nuisance fish because it took up like 30 minutes of my tournament time, but it ended up being big halibut. But man, dude, that thing. I caught that thing right in front of Rady's shell, like in the channel right there. And I thought it was a stingray. I was like, what the heck is this thing? It was a beast, man. Just to get that in the boat, wouldn't fit in the net. I'm not complaining. I'm happy I caught that thing. But man, those halibuts, dude, they're beasts.
They're catching a lot of big halibut in the bay right now. I'm seeing a lot of reports of big halibut coming out of the bay right now.
Well, I catch and release that thing right over by the Rady shell if you guys want to try to go get her. She was probably, I would say, I don't know, the bump board's 30 inches long. I think that thing was like a 34 or 36, man. That thing was a beast.
That's a good one.
Okay, I'd like to give a thanks to this guy right here, Chris, the beef shaman who put together the event we've been talking about on Lake Barrett. It was for charity, and he had a charity event that allowed us to get in there a little bit earlier than everybody else. But Chris is a super cool dude. You guys have a chance to check out his channel. It's Chris, the beef shaman. He does spotted bay bass videos. He does all the largemouth lakes around us. Super cool dude. He's probably known, Chad, if you've watched these, he's known for his like beer review on the water. They're all famous for something. And that's kind of what he does.
That's pretty cool, yeah.
Super cool dude. I love fishing with this guy. I thank you, first of all, Chris, for inviting me. And man, can I get an invite next year too? The prep, dude, the prep building up to this was insane. Me and my son, I'm not kidding, we're in my garage for like 2 hours deciding, because, you know, you hear all these stories of Lake Barrett, like, okay, let's bring out the Spro rats. Let's bring out the top water, the double buzz baits. Let's see what we can do here. And then we ended up not getting a topwater bite. At least I didn't. So that's what we were hoping for. I think that's what every largemouth guy hopes for, is that gnarly topwater bite. We didn't get it. So here's our fishing outing right here. We all lined up on the banks, and we're just kind of casting around, and we're all watching each other just one after the. My day started out slow, man. I got like First hour, I only like 3 fish. I was like, what the heck am I doing wrong here? I know. And everybody else around me is like at fish 15. I'm like, all right, I'm going to change it up. I'll just put away all this top water stuff. And I went to, I got my PB. Let's see if I have it on here. Here's some of the guys. There's Chris in the background fishing. There's my son right there in the Passport. And I do like that kayak because of its weight. Let me tell you guys, that Passport's, that's a good kayak right there. And it's fast. Here's my PB crappie. Not much, but for me, that's a PB because I haven't got very many of those. So I got that in the morning. Happy to get that. I know it looks tiny. You're probably like, what is that thing? But hey.
No one looks funny is Brian in a kayak.
They don't allow boats on that lake. You know what? I really actually enjoy fishing a kayak, but I have a hard time fishing from it. But anyway, guys, this is the story here I'm going to have to tell real quick. Oh, there's Bob. What's up, Bob? There's Bob standing up on his kayak. We all sat in that island and had a meet up for lunch and hang out there for a little bit. And there's Chris. And there's my son. And there's the typical bass down there. But I have a little story I want to tell you guys. So I saw this point right here, Chad. You see those weeds right there?
Yeah.
It's like a shoal coming out. You probably know that spot. I'm sure all these guys, I never fished here, but I saw that and I was doing, it was like 7:30 in the morning. I was like, oh, that looks like a pretty fishy spot. So I went over there, cast it on the back. I got 2 2-pounders, 1, 2 right off the bat. And I tell my son, I'm like, hey, dude, get over here, man. I think this is a fishy spot. You know, I got 2 decent fish in a row. So I paddled around to the backside and I'm fishing a Senko because I've given up on my top water and I want to get my numbers up because everybody's smoking me. So I'm like, I got to catch some fish here. I'm going to get out the easy bait, the Senko. Throw it in those weeds right there. And with a largemouth, they're not like the spotty where they're just like, boom. You're like, oh, I threw it in there. And all of a sudden you just see your line on the Senko just go tight. No, it's no longer falling. So you lift your rod and you're like, oh, there's a fish on there. I lift my rod and something feels very, very heavy. I'm like, okay. And then this is the only reason I caught this fish, guys. On each side of those weeds is 2 big drop-offs, right? It's like a shoal that goes out. And when I hooked this big fish, it didn't run back into the weeds. I got super lucky. That thing went and ran out into the deep water. So let me show you a picture of this fish. And guys, I'm not kidding you. I finally did it. After an entire lifetime, never thinking I'd do this, I broke a double-digit bass. I got an 11.24 pounder. It was a giant, man. You could hear me screaming from Lake Barrett to Ramona. Those guys are probably wondering who's the new guy out here catching a 3-pound fish. But my son was screaming. Have you ever? You've said you've caught a 10-pounder before, but if you guys have never caught one before, let me tell this story a little bit more. So I cast into the weeds, which are right behind me. That sticks, whatever. And then it swam into that deep water. And I only had 8-pound line. I think the only reason I got it, all these things, just miracles happened. I got lucky. It went in the deep water and I was able to just kind of let it run and wear itself out. I think if it would have gone the other direction into those sticks, I would have never got that thing on an 8-pound line. Mm-hmm. So my son had the net and he was up on shore. I know this is a long story, but I got to tell it. I got to tell this. My son was up on shore and he's got the net and he's looking at me and, you know, I thought I had like a 5-pounder and I see it come to the surface and it did his bass head shake. And I yell at my son, I'm like, hey, get over here. I need that net. This thing is huge, I think. And so it dove down again and he pulls up next to me. And I didn't get a very good look at it when it jumped. I just saw its head. And then we see that look when he finally comes up and you see that color. And me and my son both look down in the water and we see this literally giant fish, man. And at that point, I'm like, oh my gosh, my son screams, I scream. I'm like a little girl. I'm like, I'm shaking, dude. It's on. I've never seen a fish like that before. I've never seen a bass like this before. And it takes a big run for like 3 minutes. There's no controlling this thing. I'm an 8-pound line on a 1,000-size spinning reel. There's no control. It's just let it run. Take your time is what I've learned on these things. Just take your time. And it's on a barbless hook at that. Get it up a second time, jumps, runs, get it up a third time. It's kind of worn out. And I just lift my rod tip. My son has the net in the water and that thing does exactly what you will dream of, Chad. It just floated its head right in that net. And he lifted it out, flopped it on the deck, and started screaming. I couldn't believe it. I'm still like, I honestly cannot believe it. I caught the thing. I weighed it on 2 scales and I honestly still cannot believe I caught over a 10-pound fish. I cannot. I'm so open about it. You know, I honestly never thought this was going to happen to me. And then we flop it on there, and the thing looks so gigantic. My son goes, "Dude, that's 17 pounds." And I'm like, okay, no, I don't know. That's like a 14 pounder. I have no clue. So I have nothing to gauge it by. And we held it up on the scale the first time, and it was like on one scale, and it was like an 11.19. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm excited, but I thought it would be like, I don't know. For some reason in my mind, I thought like 20 pounds. We held it up on the 11, and it ended up bouncing between 1.2 and 1.3. Ended up holding on 11.24.
Nice.
Super stoked. Okay, I have to
Super
expand.
cool.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to show you the video of catching this. So I was lucky enough to be out there with a YouTuber, Chris, and he put this video out today, guys. I'm going to show you just a small portion of this, the portion of this fish, so you guys can check this out. But make sure that you check out his video too, the full video. Can you see that, Chad?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's on there.
Let me put this thing full screen here.
What's up? Okay. Oh, no way. I gotta go. I'll be back. Is this rumor true?
Well, Chris, thank you for inviting me to Lake Barrett on a great weekend. Beautiful morning. I can barely talk. My adrenaline's so pumping.
Absolutely.
My goal was to not lose my big fish. I didn't want to lose my big fish. And my son's goal was to get 7 fish. I think he's already got that. But I got something here I want to show you. Just hot fish.
Oh, man. Oh. Hey, do you know
Look at
Brian
the
likes to fish?
Look at the gut on that thing, Chad. What do you think of that?
Amazing. Did you get on it?
I haven't got a length, but I did get a weight.
A weight?
11.3 pounds.
11.3 pound
Finally,
beauty.
a
Oh,
lifetime of trying to get my 10 pounder, and I get it with Chris.
Dude.
Dang.
oh,
Beast.
snagging grass and catching bass. You're
Oh
catching
my
bass today,
gosh.
man.
You want to measure it for me? I'm going to pass it to you, Chris. Holy smokes. PB largemouth bass. We should see the gut on that thing he lays on the bump. You got that.
No, I don't.
Ooh.
We're at 24 and a half,
That's
almost
24
24 and 3/4.
It's like 24 inches
Wow.
around.
Yeah, it's probably close to 24 inches.
Okay,
around.
guys, I want to get this big.
Absolutely amazing. Let me get.
Oh my gosh.
That's amazing.
That's cool.
I'm
That's cool to know they have bass that big in there.
Let her go.
Senko. Pound test.
Nice.
Wow, look at the girth.
I'm happy when that happened.
How you feeling, Brian?
All right, Chad.
So cool, man.
I'm sorry I'm sitting here gloating over this, but guys, I think that's probably the only one I'll catch in my lifetime. So I'm super stoked to get it and to get it out there with a group of friends. And my son is the net man. What a day, man. What a day. One of the best fishing days that I'll ever remember. All right, there it is on the scale, guys. 1.24 is what she held out at. And yeah, amazing. I just can't believe it. I caught it and I can't believe it. I just can't believe it. So all right, I'm going to go ahead and put this on here.
Congrats, brother. That is awesome.
Thanks,
That
man.
is so cool.
Yeah, I know. Where do you go from here now, Chad? I guess. So guys, this is the end where if you guys have any questions for Chad about the Spotty Bowl, what do we got here? We're an hour and 43 minutes in it. So we're going to hang out for a few more minutes.
Yeah,
and
we're
answer
good.
any questions you guys have.
Any questions you'd like about the tournament coming up, about Spotty Bowl, about Mexico? Yeah. About hookup baits. Let's go. About
Bass is
kayaks.
almost as big as my bass mailbox. That's what it looked like, Todd. I'm not kidding. I've never seen a bass in person like that. And it's just when you're used to, not that spotties are small, but when you're used to spotties and you see something that has a mouth that you can grab like this, you're just like, what the heck is that thing? Incredible. I just,
Yeah.
you largemouth guys, man, the opportunity to catch something like that is just crazy. Thank you, Chris. Chris, check out the rest of that video. Chris and those guys, I don't, well, there's 30 of us. Check out the rest of his video. It's a whole day out there. And oh, you know what? I got to show one more thing here. I didn't show. So Chris is known for doing his beer reviews, right? And at the end of the day, he gave me one of his beers, and to celebrate, I drank that with me and my son, you know. And thank you for that, Chris. But I don't know what was in that beer. I'm a super lightweight, Chad. Like if I drink like half a beer, I can feel it. And after Chris gave me that beer, it's probably like, I don't know, a 12, whatever that is. The alcohol percentage was super high in it. But I was looking at Chris, and I was seeing Jar Jar Binks in that rock right there. Do you watch Star Wars, Chad? You know who Jar Jar Binks is? Chris is probably thinking I'm some kind of weirdo, but I kept saying, I'm like, dude, that rock right there looked just like Jar Jar Binks after drinking that beer. I don't know. What'd you give me, Chris? Anyway,
are you talking about the one higher up on the hill? That one has more of a
this
face
one right here.
on it.
Look at the one right in front of Chris, the big giant boulder.
Yeah.
Look at it. It's like the nose of Jar Jar Binks with the two eyes on top and then the floppy ears. I don't know. I had too much of
look the one up towards the top with the dark on it. Looks like two dark eyes. That one looks more like a Star Wars alien to me. You see?
Come on, man. If you don't know Jar Jar Binks, if you guys know Jar Jar Binks, only 7%, man, I'm embarrassed.
Yeah.
Anyway, so if you guys have any questions, yeah, I was barking out at Barrett. Yes, I'm sure Chris knows. I probably needed to embarrass myself out there screaming like that.
You're probably on a fish high.
And I was on everything high. Apparently, I was on Port Brewing Journey Ahead high.
So my Mexico adventure, it's going to be 4 videos, and then I'm going to go over one thing on all the mistakes I think I made when I did roll my kayak. So hopefully save somebody,
did you get that on
save
video?
somebody's life and stuff. But it's going to be 5 videos total. So make sure you check out the Hookup Baits on YouTube for those videos. The tournament one's being edited right now by our editing people, so should be out like this week or next week.
Did you get the rollover on video?
No, I didn't get the rollover on video, but I got, after, when I got back on shore, I did a video. And then after a couple days of driving and thinking about it and how I could have avoided it and what would have made things easier. And so I did another video of me just talking while driving on going over stuff that I've learned from it. So
those videos are worth $1 million because if it's somebody new on a kayak like me, I need to hear these stories.
And that's what I thought.
Me and Tom, who's right, I think behind you right now, talked about once the water kind of heats up that we're gonna take all of our kayaks down there. We go fishing afterwards or do this after, but learn how to flip them and get in them because so many people that fish the kayak stores I hear have no idea how to once they're out how to get back in it.
Yeah, it's definitely something you need to do because it's not with kayak fishing, especially if you get adventurous and go out to open ocean or if you're in San Diego Bay and one of those stupid yacht wakes hit you wrong or something. The first time I flipped my kayak, I was trying to look under my seat to find a bottle of scent. The first time I flipped my kayak, so it's the dumbest things that could cause you to flip. And when I was out there in that open ocean and got in it, and I'm a pretty strong guy and it can handle things pretty well. But when I got back in my kayak, I was exhausted. I was like, your adrenaline going and then just trying to flip it over and all that stuff. And I was in open water by myself on a windy day where there's not a single boat within 100 miles. And I was out there by myself. So I got back in my boat and I'm like, there's like a lot of guys I kayak with that wouldn't have been able to do that. And they would have been stuck out there, So I felt like I needed to do something that might help people avoid that situation. And if they get in that situation, to survive that sort of situation, because I don't get scared of much. I'm not scared of many things in this world. And that scared me a little bit. So
yeah, I imagine when your life jacket's inflated over your face and you're in the middle of the ocean with nobody around in Mexico, that's kind of a
Yeah.
That's kind of a scary moment, I guess.
Yeah.
But
It's pretty
if
hard.
there's anybody out there that is really good at boarding a kayak from the water, get in contact with me. If you want to lead up one of these things where we can go out there and you guys can teach somebody how to do it, or if somebody has a swimming pool or whatever, and we're fine with going to Mission Bay. I know the water's kind of gross out there, but go out there when the water warms up. And if somebody wants to teach people how to board a kayak once it's been flipped, reach out to me and I'll set up the date. I'll set it up on the channel and we'll all meet up and you can show us how to do it and we can all practice doing it. I think it'll be a good thing for the community because I've never flipped I've done a lot of canoeing in my life and I can get in and out of canoe. So I feel like I can get in and out of my kayak pretty good. I'm the same as you. I feel pretty confident in myself, but you don't know until you're actually there. You know what I mean? So I would like to try that.
It's two totally different. The first time I flipped my kayak, I was in calm water in San Diego Bay with no life jacket on. And it was super easy to flip it back over and get back in. You know, I was kind of laughing about it the whole time in that one. But then this situation was totally different. I had a life jacket on, but in much bigger, rougher water. And it was so much harder. So,
and everybody that is, because I've told a lot of stories of flipping on this show in the past, and everybody seems like they're leaning over to grab something, or their bump board fell in and they reached for it real quick. It's like it sneaks up. It doesn't even have to be like your experience where it's like a wake. It just all of a sudden it's, hey, I leaned too far to the right, or you're looking for your scent and you're in the water before you know it. Yeah, we've been on a few outings where that's actually happened.
And then how long I was in the water is another thing. I was like, I immediately thought of Pyramid Lake. You know, 15 minutes in the water in Pyramid Lake in the wintertime, you're done. You know, hyperthermia and you're done. So that's what scared me. It's like how long it took me to get back in the boat.
That's why you always have a buddy, Chad. Always have a buddy. That's your best. That's your. But your buddy was on shore laughing at you, I guess. Sounded like. All right, guys, we're gonna give it a few more minutes here. Chad, so you're talking about your video coming out on the Mexico anytime. You think of when you're gonna release that thing?
Yeah, the tournament one, it's going to go in order: the La Paz, Mag Bay, Loreto, and then the Secret Lagoon in order. And then the rollover one will be in there somewhere. But
a couple weeks from now, or a couple days from now.
The tournament one should be out next week. That's just what we have editing people. That's people that work on our website and do our commercial ads and all that kind of stuff. They also do my video editing. So I do a quick edit here. And then they do the final editing. So it's in their hands right now. They're doing the final editing.
That's when you're in the big leagues, man. When you got somebody just handed off to, you know, I need a producer here. What's going on?
I've never been into videoing and all that stuff. JoJo basically handed me a GoPro and said, "This is part of your job now." And
nice.
And I edited 2 or 3 videos of my own. I'm like, okay, if I have to edit my own videos, it's not going to happen. So that's how that happened.
People heard me screaming from the Hauser arm yelling. Yeah, I know. I'm kind of a little embarrassed about that, Chris, but you know, you live in the moment, right? You live in the moment, whatever.
Yeah, you deserve to celebrate.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, Chad, anything else besides, so we got that tournament coming up. We've already talked about how they can sign up for that. I'm going to put that on the screen one more time here.
Yeah, definitely sign up for that, guys. It's going to be an awesome tournament. Well worth the price, and you know, it's going to be a good money price. And the belt. You guys want to see the belt again?
Yeah, let's show that belt. Let me put you on full screen here.
Todd is amazing. He's getting so good at making these things.
I told Todd that's all he's going to be known for now. You're going to all forget about his beautiful art. He's just going to be the guy that makes the killer
the red, white, and blue little rubies on there. Very cool.
All right, guys. So you go to ianglerstournament.com/battle the bay, or go to the San Diego Anglers webpage if you want to check out some more information. Or like I said, you could probably message Chad, and he'll get you in contact with the correct people. But Chad, guess what? We got a tournament coming up this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
You going to partake with me? You got something you can chug, or you just going to watch me? Oh, okay.
That's all I got right now. I got a big gulp.
First of all, Chad, I want to say thanks for nearing 2 hours here. Thanks. I love having you on a guest. I'm the fishiest person I've ever met. So I love having on here, picking your brain about it. All these guys enjoy your... All these guys in chat right here enjoy your baits, and obviously, number one bait voted Spotty Bowlers. Is it 2 or 3 years in a row? So congratulations doing that. If you guys have never heard of Hookup Baits, where the heck have you been? They're everywhere. The fish, looks like every species of fish these things will catch all the way through Mexico, all the way through San Diego. So give them a shot. And Chad, it's Spotty Bowl weekend. We're fishing. What bay we fishing?
San Diego.
Oh, San Diego Bay, of course, our pre-fish. So
Yeah,
I'm gonna go ahead.
We're slow fishing right now. Hopefully it turns around by this weekend.
Let's see how it goes. Chris, this is not a beer, but maybe one day if I catch another 10-pounder, I'll do this with a beer. So
Hey, you're welcome, Brian. Or I mean, not Brian, Bob, for the Hookup Baits. Good job, Brian. Hey, Brian, I gotta say,
this is the end of the show. Now I can't talk. Go ahead.
You do an awesome job with the show. I'm very proud of what you do with the show and what you have done and what you keep on doing. And any help you need from me or the Hookup Baits crew, we are there. So support your show and Spotty Bowl.
All you guys are all my buddies. I've known you guys forever. I love hanging around you guys. But guys, this weekend, me and Chad and all the Spotty Bowlers are going to be out there snagging grass and catching bass. We are out of here. Later, guys. Later, guys. See you out on the water.